I look so gross. Good morning everyone. It's a Sunday and I'm tired. Very, very tired if you can't really tell from my face. I have been ill all week. I haven't been able to do any university work. I've been in bed, sleeping just really, really poorly. So today is one of those days where I just want to get a lot of work done. I'm in my final year of university, so I've got a lot of dissertation work and everything's been online. It's just been, yeah. But my plan is, I can't get everything into one video today, so my plan is to do a video on what I've done for like the past year, because it's been a very hectic year, but I also really wanted to tell you all what I've been up to because it's been quite an interesting year. And then I'm also going to do another video just on how I found my third year maths degree, but that's another video, so expect quite a few videos from me on this channel. I've got some really exciting news about my masters, but I'm going to do a video on that, you know, once everything is finalised and things, so I have that to look forward to. But one final thing, and this is basically to do with what the video is going to be about today. So I am in my final year obviously at Leeds, so third year, and in third year we do a project and it's kind of like a dissertation. It's about a 25-page report that you do on an area of maths. So you get put into groups, and I've probably already explained this on another video. We got put into groups and are allocated different projects, and mine was using random numbers to solve problems in maths and physics. So first semester we learned all about Monte Carlo methods, which you may have heard of, you may not have. It's basically using random numbers to solve problems, and it's really interesting. There's a lot to do with finance and then a lot to do with physics as well. So we had this group of, I think it's about 11 of us, but we were split into different groups, and then those groups got rearranged for those that wanted to do the physics side of things and those that wanted to do the finance side of things. And if you've watched any of my videos you'll know that I definitely went for the physics. So my dissertation is basically just looking at ferromagnetic systems, so it's to do with kind of magnetic dipoles in lattices, which probably makes no sense, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to explain what I'm doing throughout the duration of the day for those of you that are interested. So very quickly, my dissertation is due in a week on Wednesday. Basically I was hoping to have had it finished by now, but obviously I got ill for a week, so I've written, basically it needs to be 25 pages, but I've written over 25 pages at the moment. One of my dissertation supervisors said it's fine, I don't care about how many pages. The other guy said make sure you make it concise, but if you do have a lot of research then it's fine if you go over, which is really good. So it means that I can go over if I want to. So I've done most of the writing up for the Ising model, which is just this magnetic system, and today I'm basically doing the XY model, and that is very similar to the Ising model except there's angles involved or whatever. But that's the plan for today, and I just want to basically make a start on the section I'm doing about the XY model. So I've done the entire rest of my report, and now it's just moving on to the XY model, making sure I find the relevant literature and doing the relevant coding, which I haven't already said. I'm doing a lot of coding in wherever, I'm trying to find it but it's not there. Yeah, I mean you can't even see it anyway, but I'm doing a lot of coding with this project. But as I said, I will do a video. I've decided I'm going to do a video on my dissertation now, just to let you know what I've done. Enough talking from me. I'm very sorry, this has been a very long introduction, but we're going to just dive in, and I'm going to basically just do a couple of time lapses and show you what I get up to throughout the day. So I've decided, instead of doing time-lapsing, I'm just going to talk you through what I'm doing, and then you can kind of, I suppose, get to know a little bit more about what my project involves and things like that. So basically I've got two different setups here. This setup here, if you can see, this thing here is some text, and this is basically LaTeX. LaTeX is basically a place that you write maths in, and it allows you to do some really nice formulas and things like that. And basically it's preferred if you do write your report in LaTeX. Basically all of these different things on here are just plots from my dissertation, and I keep them all on my desktop so I can keep track of which ones I've included and which ones I haven't. So there we go, that's a type of plot. And as I said, my dissertation is basically using Python to simulate random numbers and solve kind of systems with random numbers. So the idea is, here is going to be my report. When I click this typeset button here, it does all this, and then it will pop up with a PDF. So you can see there's kind of maths equations and stuff like that that you can write using LaTeX. So it's really handy, and that's what I'm writing my report on. So I'm going to use LaTeX to write up, whereas this laptop here is basically to do all of the coding in. Yeah, I've got a lot of files, if you can see. I've got a lot of files. There's a lot of coding involved in this project, but I do enjoy it because obviously I love to code. So yeah, at the moment I'm just transferring over some coding that I've done on this laptop to this laptop so that I can start running some simulations. So my plan now is to mainly focus on LaTeX, which is going to be on my laptop. I'm going to start writing, doing a bit of research. I guess now's the time to time lapse because I've explained what I'm doing at the moment. Now is I'm doing some simulations for the XY model, and I've played around with this code quite a bit, and basically what I'm doing is simulating the XY model at different temperatures. So you can probably see a whole range of different arrows on the screen right now, and this is basically the XY model. The XY model is a lattice of different arrows, and the arrows are characterised by different angles. So we've got a whole range of different angles, and you can see that the angles are represented by different colours. So obviously all that are pointing that way are that colour, and all that are pointing that way are that colour. So there's a nice colour bar on there. And then basically what we notice is this is a system where it's not at equilibrium. So basically you do this algorithm to this lattice over and over and over, and after a certain number of times it will reach what is known as equilibrium. So just bear in mind what that looks like now. There's a lot of different colours on there, and I'm just going to cross off and hopefully it'll do it. Now look at that, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So that's at lower temperatures, you kind of see this order within the arrows, and it's just really nice. I just think it's really cool. The thing that I'm looking at now is what is known as thermalization of a system. So basically if you have a system that is random, so when you saw those random arrows, a bit like this, with all these random arrows, you can then put this through an algorithm, which is what we're doing at the moment for my project. It's a Metropolis algorithm, and that basically will thermalize a system so it gets it to its kind of expected state. So when I showed you the really nice one where it was kind of ordered like this, it's really nice, but that is at equilibrium. So before it reaches this nice state, you expect it to look something like this to begin with, and the whole idea is that it will, through different iterations of the algorithm, things are going to move and it will tend towards an ordered state like this, and that's really cool. So that's something that I'm looking at in my project, and basically what you can see is I've just plotted this. It's a little bit squiggly. Basically what we see is, I'll zoom in, is that you start with a system. We're just plotting the energy of a lattice, so you can obtain the entire energy of a lattice or specific kind of points. So this is the energy of the lattice, and basically what we notice is it starts with a really kind of increased value. So this is when it corresponds to this disordered state. So that's the energy for a disordered state. And then as you keep putting it through the algorithm, it's going to tend towards an ordered state like this, and therefore you kind of get this convergence to an energy that's expected for kind of a more ordered state like this. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, is looking at thermalization time. So basically what this is showing you is that you do need to kind of thermalize a system. So you need to get it to a point where you have kind of just something looking like this, rather than, you know, you have this massive fluctuation between. So there's about one difference there from there down to there in energy, which is a lot. So when you start taking samples, it's not good. It gives you kind of inaccurate results. So at the moment I'm just looking at thermalization time, so that's what I'm currently on with, which is what you see there. What I'm doing now is looking at how the thermalization time changes for different temperatures. So this is a temperature at a critical temperature, and basically the critical temperature is when a system undergoes kind of a drastic change. So it's kind of like when a liquid turns into a solid, or a solid back to a liquid, or a liquid to a gas. It's that transition. So in the XY model there is a phase transition. It's, you know, that's what they call it, phase transition. And what's interesting is seeing kind of thermalization times for different temperatures. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So this is at the critical temperature, so we notice kind of a lot of fluctuation, whereas then you plot it for a pretty low temperature. So that's 0.1, and what you expect is there's not going to be a lot of fluctuation, because you expect there not to be massive changes in the behaviour of the system. I realise I'm saying all this and it probably makes no sense. Yeah, so you see this here, this plot, it takes a little bit of time to converge. It starts at a pretty high value up there, and then when you get down here there's hardly any fluctuations at all. So that's something that's really interesting, is looking at how temperature changes a system's thermalization times and things like that. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. As I said, probably makes no sense at all, but I remember when I was looking at university and I was really wanting to find videos online about what maths entails and stuff, so I thought this is a bit of a day where I get to teach you and tell you what I do. Even if it makes no sense, don't worry, you know, I've done I've done a whole semester of learning this stuff with lecturers and stuff, so it might not make sense, but this is a bit of a taster of what you can get up to on a dissertation. But for now it's, like I said, 11:30, so I'm going to go and continue doing this for another half an hour. Thermalization. Okay, basically what you see is there's not a lot of fluctuation for lower temperatures, and that's because the system isn't expected to move a lot, whereas for high temperatures you have this disorder, so you expect the system to, do we have the pots? You expect the system to be pretty, you know, these are changing all the time because it's high temperature, so yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so I am back. It's 1:30 and I just had some lunch and then went for a walk, and now I'm just going to get on and do some more XY model and basically write up what I said last time and then do a bit more exploration on the XY model. I'm actually really enjoying my report. I feel like I know I'm such a nerd with things like this, but I'm learning a bit more about the XY model and how topology fits in with it, which is quite a hard, I suppose, area. And I guess part of me didn't expect, when I heard of topology, there's a module at university on topology, I always expected it to be quite a pure module, but I never expected topology to have come up with what I'm doing. And basically I'm being able to understand how the phase transition, so that's how the system moves between two states, which is what I think I showed you on here when it was like disordered versus relatively ordered. And now I'm understanding why the phase transition works the way it does, and it's all to do with vortices. And yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a little simulation on my laptop which I'll try and show you, and it's basically just showing, so if you have an anti-vortex and a vortex, the two kind of cancel each other out for different temperatures, and that's basically the premise behind the XY model. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm understanding it on a whole new level. I know I said at the start of this video that I've been applying to some masters, which I will have news to announce once I kind of finalise my decisions and everything, but one of the courses that I've been accepted onto actually looks into phase transitions, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, because I'm doing a dissertation on it type thing. Obviously it's slightly different, but understanding how it works and things would be quite cool, so I might go down that avenue on my, if I choose that course, my masters. So yeah, pretty cool. But I'm just gonna, for now, finalise a few things about the vortices, make sure I've got it. My hair's a bit of a mess, I'm not gonna lie. My sister's been, oh gosh, what is going on? My sister's been cutting my hair in lockdown, which is probably why you can see these bits of hair here that just don't go in my bun. But yeah, my hairdresser won't be too happy about that. But it's quite early, it's 20 to 5, but we're basically getting a takeaway. to celebrate me getting into the masters, which I feel like this whole video is me going, oh, there's a masters, but I haven't told you about it yet. But there will be a video on my channel very soon once I've finalised everything, as I keep saying. Yeah, so we're getting a takeaway to celebrate, and because my sister was really hungry and I'm pretty hungry as well, we've got it pretty early, so it's literally 20 to 5 and she's gone for the takeaway now. So what I'm going to do now is go and get my takeaway tea and enjoy that, and then come back and do a little bit more of this. So this is a 15 by 15 lattice. So as you increase the lattice size, what you can do is replace these arrows by just their colour. You know, here we have blue, that would just be replaced by a blue square. And when you do that and you zoom out, obviously if you did it with just the arrows, you probably wouldn't be able to see the arrows anyway, but you'd still have these kind of like white gaps, which we don't really want. So you replace that kind of unit square for a colour, and then you end up with something really cool, and I'll just show you it. And it ends up looking something like that, which I think is so cool. When I plotted it, I was like, whoa. So what that's kind of showing is you can start in a system where you have absolutely you can start in a system that's completely random, a random configuration, and you just have like colours everywhere, which is a bit like that, but this is basically showing what it's like for high temperatures, and it kind of just looks like a static noise, doesn't it, like just nothing. And then as you kind of lower the temperatures, you end up with these more anti-vortex vortex pairs, and that's what you see in these colours, is you end up with some sort of order. So you have this entire area here, and that represents the vortex anti-vortex pair, so it's pretty cool, which I'm hoping.
I look really good on this, don't I? Wow.
Right, I'm gonna go get my takeaway now and then come back and do a bit more work. What, Ted? My plan now is to FaceTime my best friend Victoria, who has appeared in some of my videos before, so you'll probably recognise her face when I do FaceTime her. So yeah, I'm going to speak to her, see how she is, because I've literally just been ill this whole week that I just haven't had a chance to speak to literally anybody. So I'm going to FaceTime, have a catch up then. And then my plan is, because it gets dark around 6, is I'm probably going to have a cup of tea, go sit outside and just watch the sunset, because it's really nice to be able to just go outside and do that.
Hello. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Are you filming me?
Yeah. Yeah, my camera keeps fogging up. I don't know if it's clear or not, but the sun is setting in the distance, and I quite like when it gets to this time, because as the sun sets, I feel like I'm kind of one of those people that likes to be in one of those coder's den. I quite like that, so I get a bit of work done on an evening when it is like this. But for now, I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea and do a bit more XY. Almost finished with the XY model. I have one extra bit that I want to talk about, which is basically just observing quantities. So that's like looking at the energy of the system, heat capacity of the system, things like that. So the main part of what I'm talking about on the XY model doesn't really associate too much with observing those quantities, but I'm just going to pop it in there anyway and just say we can see that the energy tends towards this, and similarly there is this kind of heat capacity, not a divergence, but we have this curve that's like this, which usually is stereotypical of a phase transition, which obviously I'm saying all these words and they mean nothing. But yeah, so it's quite interesting really. I've managed to do quite a few simulations and things that I'm really happy with. When it comes to maths and physics, being able to code and implement it is just absolutely incredible. So yeah, so I'm happy with how far I've got. The next step is basically just to copy all of the links that I've used today onto a Word document, just that I can find them again if I need them, But that's all I'm going to do, and then just get an early night, get a shower and go to bed ready for a 5 AM wake up tomorrow. Yeah, so that's the video today. It's been a bit of a, I suppose, a roller coaster in terms of just talking about maths to you and things like that, but this is basically what I've got up to today. It's been pretty accurate and representative of a usual day for me anyway. I'd rather do quite a lot of work, but I just love maths and I just do a lot of work anyway. But that's the video today. Expect a lot more videos on my channel. I've got so many things planned and some really exciting news to be announcing soon, so stick with me on this channel, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and comment, and I will see you all in the next video.